Plant Tokyo Ghoul. Hi, my name's Jared. You're watching Shin Culture, where we take a look at life through the eyes of a weeb. These eyes. Insert bad joke here.
Please laugh.
Anyway, before we get into the main subject of the video, if you would like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you really want to, you can always follow me on Twitter or X,
One day I plan on doing something with it.
which would be great. So this video is really just meant to be like a quick little primer, first thoughts type thing of a manga series that I've been reading called Wild Strawberry. It actually started back in July. The mangaka is Iri Yamamoto. It comes out bi-weekly on the Shonen Jump app or Jump Plus, however that works out for you. At the time of the video, there's only about 12 chapters. So the story's just kind of getting started, but I'm going to give you the quick little Wikipedia synopsis because I'm lazy and it's here, which is plants have evolved. They can now feed on humans and become terrible monsters known as Jinka. Kingo and Kayano do their best to survive in a Tokyo overrun by plants, but when Kayano becomes a Jinka, Kingo will do anything he can to get her back. So like I said, that's a little quick Wikipedia thing. But what does that really mean? You have plant monsters that have taken over. And basically what they do is they release spores, people get infected. Now there is like some medicine people can take to kind of hold it off. But you're kind of in a dystopian society at this point. So it can be very hard to get the medicine, or it's very expensive, or it's just not given because of classism and all that other fun things that I'm sure they'll get into as the manga progresses. But if you don't have this medicine, eventually you'll get the spores will totally infect you and you'll turn into a Jinko, which so far is basically returning into monsters, and the monsters can basically be whatever they want them to be a lot of times. But they like to eat humans. And apparently we taste good.
Wouldn't know.
Kind of talk about the little synopsis a little bit more. You know, you're talking about like Kingo, who's the main character, and his whole thing, at least at the very beginning of chapter one, is to protect a sister who is turned into a Jinka. But unlike most Jinka, she's not really a "I'm gonna eat you." She just kind of like, I want to chill by the sun. Eventually they're kind of like found out, and other stuff kind of goes down. And ultimately, it results in Kayano, like, more or less sacrificing herself in a way, or to save her brother who's mortally injured. And she kind of like merges with him, and so he's got like a Jinka inside him, although he's not really a Jinka. This is probably where a lot of people get the Tokyo Ghoul-ish vibes off of it, and the eating of humans. Personally, to me, I get more of like a Parasite the Maxim like vibe off of it, because you have like literal parasites that are replacing humans and they like to eat people, which is kinda what's going on here, except you got big scary monsters instead of like mouthy face creature thingies.
I'm very good at describing things, if you can't tell.
So to get back on like the actual story, so Kingo gets merged with his sister, who's a Jinka, and then this one research guy whose name is Makino. Yeah, he basically tells them like, I think, you know, maybe if you get to the center of Tokyo and you're able to fight the giant infestation thing, the main spore generating cloud big Jinka that's there, maybe you'll be able to like save your sister. So he's like, cool, I gotta do that, let's do that. But in order to do that, he actually ends up joining up with the 7th Special Flower Funeral Force Squad, which are basically the people that go around fighting Jinka, and they have basically giant scissors. Think Kill la Kill with more clothes. Which they haven't really gotten too deep into what they are yet or what they can do, because again, 12 chapters, still fairly early in. But there's only, I mean, as of this time, there's only about, what, one, two, three, four other real characters in it. And like I said earlier, you have Makino, who's just kind of like a research guy. He ends up kinda tagging along, kinda not. Then you have Kishiyama, who's actually the funeral director, and he's like, all right, look, I'll give you a chance, but if you do anything, we'll kill you. He's kind of your generic young, super badass guy. Not really a whole lot really known about any of them at this point in time. I'm sure as it goes on, more stuff will come up, and they'll all have tragic backstories. Then you have Makoto, who's kind of your older badass, who's actually more the guy who's always in the field with them. And he's also like, well, if you start going a little crazy and wanting to eat people, I'll just kill you. But at the same time, he's also kind of rooting for him. Again, I'm sure he's going to have some super tragic backstory, because that just kind of seems how this is going to play out. Also, you have Ayari, who's the female of the group, because they have to have one at least, right? Because progressive. Anyway, they've actually gone into her, like, part of her backstory at this point in time, and that's kind of where it's like, oh, they're all gonna have some like tragic backstory type stuff. They themselves don't necessarily have any like crazy powers at this point in time. Maybe they'll develop some,
Probably.
but they do use like giant scissor weapons to fight Jinka. In chapter 12, you also found out some other stuff about them while they're able to fight them, but read it and find out if you want. My overall thoughts on this manga, at least at this point in time, because like I said, it's still fairly new. I have been enjoying it. I definitely do get the Tokyo Ghoul Parasite type vibes off of it, but at the same time, that's kind of in my wheelhouse. I like the body horror, loss of humanity, boy monster type stories in general, which is really why I wanted to check it out. Now, as for the actual story and stuff so far, it's not the most groundbreaking or original thing by any stretch. It's been pretty straight up paint by number normal shonen at this point in time, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if it's a solid story, solid story. The artwork's pretty good so far. I do kind of enjoy it. The few Jinka that you've seen, kind of dig their designs too. I'll probably pop up like one of my favorite ones right here from like really early on. No spoilers, like I said. If you want to check it out, I do recommend it. Like I said, it's on the Shonen Jump app in America. I don't know how that works in other countries, or Jump Plus, or you know what to do. Anyway, with all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't, hit the notification bell because that's always cool too. And if you really want, again, there's always that Twitter X thing. Anyway, till next time, later.